Critics are furious with Major League Baseball. It all started when the league was warning players against expressing their Christian faith on their uniforms. Several San Francisco Giants players wrote Bible verses on their caps during the team's recent Pride Night game. Actor Bob Schneider has offered to pay any fines those players may face.
They're all for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Unless you have a diversity of opinion, then you're not included in your opinion. I'm tired of Christianity being the doormat for everybody else's beliefs to be stepped on us. It's an attack on Christianity. And I think the MLB screwed up. I think Americans are sick of this.
MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred is no stranger to scandal. In fact, back in 2020, in the midst of the George Floyd riots, the league dove into politics, backing the Black Lives Matter movement. More of the same following year. Manfred yanked the All-Star game out of Atlanta after pressure from the left. Some pushed the false narrative that Georgia's new voting laws amounted to Jim Crow 2.0. And in 2023, the Dodgers invited the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence to their Pride Night. That group dresses in drag and satirizes Catholic nuns. Lucas Tomlinson has more, because there's more, Lucas.
That's right, Harris. The issue's gotten the attention of GOP lawmakers here in the nation's capital. Senator Josh Hawley writing MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred, quote, "You must answer for what appears to be a pattern of discrimination within MLB against baseball players who profess their Christian faith." Friday night, Landon Roop, a 27-year-old right-hander from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, started for the San Francisco Giants and pitched 4 2/3 innings with Genesis chapter 9, verses 12 through 16 written on his cap next to the rainbow-colored team logo on Pride Night, as you can see here. After the game, Roop said, "There's no hate at all. It's just for what I stand for and what I stand on. I believe in God." 2 relievers also made appearances in the game with Bible verses on their hats. Another took the mound without his Pride Night cap, instead wearing the traditional orange lettering. The pitchers have a supporter in Vice President J.D. Vance, who posted on X, quote, "Trump won. We don't have to do this anymore." Now, San Francisco first added Pride Night uniforms in 2021. After the game, the Giants issued a statement apologizing to the LGBTQ+ community. Major League Baseball said, quote, "The writing on the caps violates our rules, and consistent with normal practice, we have warned the players about future violations."
I think people are tired of corporations, whether they're, in the business space or in the sports setting, forcing ideology on players in things like rainbow symbols on uniforms, as they were on some of the hats.
The Texas Rangers are the only team in Major League Baseball that does not host a Pride Night. This week, they're hosting Faith and Family Night instead. And Florida's Attorney General posting on X, MLB will be hearing from his office soon. Harris?
Wow. So gay, but not Christian. Civil rights, but no religious freedom. Just want to get the rules straight. Thank you. The controversy generating new opinion headlines. Tolerance does not apply to Christians. Giants pitchers expose the limits of liberal tolerance. And here's part of it. If Democrats were the party of toleration, as they claim to be, they would be praising the actions of the players. Instead, they continue to be the party that hypocritically shouts down anyone who disagrees with their strict standard of progressivism. In focus now, Mary Kathrarine Ham, Fox News contributor. Again, I mean, some of this we have already decided as a nation. So why all of the attack on faith?
Well, here's the thing. Why does the MLB want to live in 2020? Nobody wants to live in 2020. There's this very small
group
1800s. Social cultural bullies who want to live in 2020 and continue to do this. It's all very counterproductive to the brand. It's counterproductive to your fans, many of whom might be Christian and actually see the rainbow as a covenant with God, which is what that Bible verse references. It's nothing hateful. And the idea that you have to force everyone to do this thing, to embrace your secular religion, but that they can't make any reference to their own sincerely held religious beliefs is mean. It's mean. It's not tolerant. And by the way, support for LGBTQ causes has been going precipitously down because of this behavior. It used to be a live and let live argument, which is something most Americans were very friendly to. And then it became bake the cake and wear the hat, you bigot. And people don't like that.
Well, I don't understand why they brought it into MLB anyway. It has nothing to do with the game. And you saw this with people like Colin Kaepernick. And you see these things being interjected into something where people just want to go and have fun. They want to take their families. They just want to chill. It's not that they don't care about these issues. They just want a time when they don't have to decide and fight with their neighbors, I would imagine. By the way, we brought this up, the Bible verse on the 3 players, and one of them you heard our reporter reference, Landon Roop, is Genesis 9:12 through 16. And part of it reads, "Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see if and remember the everlasting covenant. I will see it, rather, and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all the living creatures of every kind on the earth." So that's what they're wearing. Mary Kathrarine.
Yes. That's the first thing I think of when I see a rainbow, and that's the first thing many Christians think of when they see a rainbow. And like I said, this isn't some hateful verse that someone's taking out of context and using to hurt another person. It's about a rainbow, and I just think that there's a middle ground here where everybody can have their say and everyone else can relax and enjoy baseball, but MLB is kind of making that impossible right now.
You know, the irony that I see, I thought that LGBT, when you see a lot of the logos, that rainbow. I mean, isn't that ironic? Anyway, let's move forward. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.